Hello, everyone. My name is Ned Dennison. I'm the chairperson of the International Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame. We have done maybe 200 interviews over the last few years. Some of the great interviews we've done have been with children of honorees who unfortunately long ago passed away. Today, we're delighted to have the parents of one of our honorees, Alex Meyer. So we've got Sean and Steve Meyer. Please say hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Um, Talk about yourselves first. Were you championship child swimmers, Olympic medalists, and all that kind of stuff?
Sean, do you want to go first? You can go first. You have a better bio than I do on swimming. You were actually a
Uh,
legit swimmer.
so I would take out the word championship swimmer. I was a YMCA swimmer. My whole family were big YMCA swimmers. My older sister was a coach. Um, and we had fun. We swam on a little Y swim team, and in the summers, back then it was AAU swimming. I swam for Little Rivers swim team, Three Rivers swim team. So it was just fun, but no, never championship quality. I
Steve, you said,
also continue. Sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I guess that was growing up, and then I did swim in college for University of Georgia. However, before you get too impressed by that, I'll remind you that this was when Title IX had just been implemented, and basically, um, me and my best friend Pat, who we grew up swimming, decided, should we be on the swim team at University of Georgia or on the tennis team? Because we knew we could do either at the time because you really just practically needed um, female identity and a heartbeat. So we joined the swim team and we were on the University of Georgia swim team, swam in Stegman Pool, and Jack Bowerly wasn't coaching yet, but he was swimming for University of Georgia. So that's my story.
And you, Steve?
Well, not so I think I started off as a kid just enjoying swimming. I went to summer camp every summer, and I was not an athletic field type of athlete. I really wasn't much of an athlete at all, but I was pretty good swimming in the lake. And one of the counselors there thought that maybe I had a skill set for swimming and encouraged me. And he started coaching me at swimming camp, just swimming out in the lake. And encouraged me to maybe consider getting on a swim team. My parents put a pool in the backyard. And so I spent a lot of time just in the water, and I just really enjoyed it. When I got to high school, my high school didn't have a swim team. There was a club team, but it was in Syracuse and the logistics just weren't right. So I never swam competitively at all. But I love swimming. I was good at it. Wasn't fast, but I was just very comfortable in the water. I went to Hobart College, which is a small liberal arts college in upstate New York, and Division III. And so I had a diving board at my at home at my parents' pool, and so I wasn't a fast swimmer, but I could do like 4 or 5 dives. So I was a walk-on for the pretty lousy team at Hobart and was a 1 meter diver my freshman year. And they would put me in relays if they needed somebody for the relay events. I didn't know how to do a flip turn or anything like that. So that was really my swimming career. After my freshman year, I decided, uh, I didn't want to really stick with it anymore. And that was it. So I've always, my favorite things to stay in shape have always been swimming and skiing. And I don't know, as I've gotten older, the skiing part has kind of fallen by the wayside, but I still enjoy swimming a lot. That's my prime source for exercise. I did triathlons for a while when I was younger. I still swim a couple times a week, and I love swimming. So that's my background. Uh, not very impressive, but that's what it is. So, but
Tell
swimming
us,
is we both were came from swimming families. Sean's brother was swam for the Naval Academy. He was really good. Or wait a minute, or was he a diver? Sean, was he a
He was a
diver?
diver, but
Oh, he was a
he was
diver.
a diver, but he did swim some events.
Yeah,
Divers sometimes. Our divers at University of Georgia would swim some events too.
gotcha.
so tell us about Alex's early swimming introduction. And Sean, if it was a water birth, by all means, add that to the story. It'll give us some flavor. At what age
Well,
did he start? How did he start?
there was no water birth, but we did put him in
There
the
was a
water
forceps delivery.
really early. So we moved across the country when he was like 2 weeks old. And Steve talked about his mom's swimming pool in the backyard. I think when we got him to Manlius, New York, to introduce him to the family, I think we put him in the pool on a raft in her pool. We have pictures of that. They're kind of embarrassing because um, he's so little and the raft was so dirty. And anyway, we put him in the water really early. So um, got him very comfortable in the water because we were always in the water. Um, we loved being, like Steve said, around water and lakes. And Alex grew up in and near Lake George, New York, and we would camp on islands in Lake George. And Steve and Alex, and sometimes me, would swim around the island while we were camping. And so a lot of lake swimming.
And when did he get
And I guess as
involved
far as
in when did he get involved in a club with, proper technique training and sessions and all that stuff?
it was a YMCA, we moved to Glens Falls, New York. Um, and I was coaching the Gators, YMCA Gators swim team there. That was very short-lived too because Alex was a baby. And but then I think Steve was he maybe 5 or 6 when we put him on the swim team. Um, and he loved it right from the get-go and was already, at 6 he was a good little swimmer. And it was really fun. The YMCA in Glens Falls did not have a swim team, so we had to drive him to Cortland
In Ithaca.
YMCA.
In Ithaca.
Oh, I just messed that up. No,
You said
no.
there
Oh,
there wasn't a swim team
yes.
in Glens Falls.
Oh, you're right.
He swam for the Gators in Glens Falls. And
He
then when we
swam for the
moved
gate
to
in
Ithaca.
Glens Falls. That's right. That's right. I'm so sorry. He swam for the Gators in Glens Falls. And then going into 5th grade, we moved to Ithaca. And we had to research and find a swim team for him because we knew that so he was, I don't know, how old was he, Steve? 10?
98. 9,
10.
10 at age 10.
Mm.
Yeah.
So he
So
swam for the Glens Falls YMCA Gators when he was little. And he did, just I don't remember much about how a lot of swim meets, or do you remember much about that,
Who
Steve?
who who drove him every morning? That you'll remember.
Well, when we moved to Ithaca and put him on the Cortland YMCA swim team, that's when it got pretty serious because there was a drive. I drove him. Um, and it was far enough away where I had to stay there during practice and then drive back because you wouldn't go back and forth. It was about 30
yeah.
minute drive,
Yeah.
35.
Yep.
And so and um so yeah, that was the Cortland YMCA, and they made it to the YMCA state championships 8 and under. Well, wait, Steve, I'm kind of confused because that was an 8 and under relay. Um, but we weren't in Ithaca
He was in
yet. We
Glens
were in,
Falls then.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. Tell us about by the time he was
yeah, it
in
was
high school,
but
what
YMCA was where he first started swimming.
what level did he reach in high school? How good was he?
He made national cuts in high school. He and a small group of all girls, all of them were girls, um, would go out to Irvine every year for what started out as the junior national meet, and then he made national cuts. And Steve, you'll remember that little ladder that he had by his bed that was all the different levels. And he was always a goal setter and would kind of check, how high up he wanted to. But he made it to Irvine to nationals in
And
high
then
school.
and then for his choice of university, as I understand it, he attended Harvard. But presumably, having made nationals, he would have had a good shot at Georgia and Texas and California and Stanford and USC and blah 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 blah. How did he make that decision? Were you involved in that decision?
Um,
Well, I'll let Steve answered that because we each took him on several trips to look at colleges before he had the opportunity to be invited to look at programs. So you
yeah,
go, Steve.
we looked at a number of programs. Alex won the states in New York in the 500 his junior and his senior year, so he came on the radar for collegiate teams that were looking for distance swimmers, and he had great times. Um, but it wasn't as though he was being offered free rides or anything like that, quite frankly, but he did get some invitations. We went out to Northwestern, we went to Penn State, went to where else that was a non-Ivy school.
University of Virginia,
Did
Mark
you go down there?
Bernardino wanted to come.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh, you okay.
Yeah, I took him there. Yeah.
Okay.
And he
I
went,
went to
yeah, because that's
Northwestern.
where he met Fran. He roomed with Fran when he went on his recruiting trip to University of
Ah,
Virginia.
okay.
So
This is
that's where
on.
he,
This is honoree Fran Crippen, I'm guessing.
yes,
Yeah.
that's where when he went on a recruiting trip to University of Virginia, he roomed with Fran. So that's
That's
where
when they
they, I
first
think,
met.
first met.
Yeah. And he also got some interest from some of the Ivy schools. So he looked at Yale, and we looked at Harvard
And
and
Princeton.
Princeton, right? Yep, yep. And I think it came down to really uh how Alex perceived the team and the coach, and in addition to the quality of the school in general outside of athletics. And so I think that I think that he liked Harvard. He liked the coach, the kids that he met on the team. It just seemed like to be maybe the best fit for him. Um, do you, I don't know that we pushed him towards one school or another, although I think that, we
I kind of
probably,
like Northwestern.
you what? Or
I said I kind of liked Northwestern, but
I don't know. But there was something
but
about an
I
Ivy
have
school as a parent.
well, right. I think that when I asked him about how he was going to make his decision. I mean, I think he said, well, Northwestern was a very, he knew enough to look into the academic programs and was, Harvard is more of a liberal arts curriculum. Northwestern, you had to basically determine what college you were going to be in from the get-go, what the whole program was going to be, and line yourself up like from the get-go. And he wasn't that sure of, what he wanted to do.
And
Um,
were you close enough to attend some of his Harvard meets?
mhm. Yeah, we did a lot. We
Yeah.
went to a lot of
Yeah.
his Harvard, and because we lived in Ithaca and where Cornell University is, Harvard would swim against Cornell University. And so remember, Steve, when we had the whole team was coming to
Yeah.
swim against
Swim at Cornell.
Harvard, swim against Cornell.
Right. Yeah.
And we had the
Hosted them all.
whole team to our house for dinner. And I mean, that's kind of a funny, kind of sad little
Yeah.
story, but
That
we
was
were like
wonderful.
so anxious. Steve and I were standing at the door waiting to greet all of the swimmers from Harvard as they came in the door, and Tim Murphy was the coach, and he always had them. They were dressed in suit and ties, and we just kept. They kept pouring in the house, and we were like, "Where's Alex? Where's Alex? Where's Alex?" And then he showed up in the back of the group, and he wasn't looking very good. He was sick, and he didn't even get to swim at that meet. And so that was kind of a little bit of a bummer because there were a lot of people from his high school team in town that were coming to watch him swim at Cornell.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he didn't even swim.
he had mononucleosis, and
Mhm.
he was actually really pretty sick from it and
Yeah,
had the rash, and he was out for quite a while, right? From
yeah, it was.
swimming.
Uh-huh.
And it was awful because, not only, he had transitioned from high school to, Harvard. That's a big transition. He's on the swim team with a huge commitment, and then he gets sick, and there's all these expectations. And I know we really worried a lot about him that first trimester, that maybe this was just, it was just too much. It was just too much. Um,
And then he
but
had to get his
um,
wisdom teeth out.
huh?
Remember the
And there's
the
that.
wisdom teeth.
Yeah. So his first semester was really a struggle, and we didn't honestly know whether he was gonna make it at Harvard as being a student athlete. And we were just wringing our hands all the time because there was just a lot of angst. It was hard for him, but he prevailed. And Alex is, an incredibly uh, strong and determined person. I think as time went on, we understood that he had some capabilities and determination, I think far in excess of anything that we initially had a good grasp on, because he went through a lot. And he was so focused that he just prevailed. But that first start at Harvard, boy, we wanted him to just come back home, take a semester off, and he stuck with it. And at the end of the first year, that's when he got, what was that award they gave him? Remember that special award?
Perseverance.
Something, the
Oh,
Hero Award or
Iron
something.
Man. Yeah, the Harvard team gave it to him, right? The Iron Man or Iron something. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Iron.
something. It was pretty prestigious. It's the athlete on the team that works the hardest, is the most determined. So Alex didn't perform well because he was sick half the damn season, but he got this award because he had a lot of guts and determination and stuck with it, even though It's kind of behind the 8 ball. So it was
Tell about
impressive.
his NCAA pool career and when the open water started, how how they interacted.
Well,
Well, I can tell the open
yeah, go
water
ahead, Sean.
started before college, right, Steve?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roy
And
Staley.
Steve mentioned that he did a lot of lake swimming. Alex went to his coach in high school was very much a proponent of open water swimming. And Steve, what was the name of that camp
Oh
that
gosh.
they do up in Canada?
Yeah.
Oh,
Chippewa or something.
brother.
The
What
famous
is it?
Camp
Yeah,
Chippewa or something like that.
something like that. So his coach took him to that camp a couple summers. And that was, yeah, that was before college. And Roy was always when Alex was swimming club for Roy Staley. When we'd go to Buffalo is where all the sectional meets would take place. And always at the end of the sectional meets, there would be an open water race in Lake Erie. And Roy was always encouraging Alex, you go swim in that. And
When did
so really he was very
when
influential.
did he get his look in at the national team for open water? Was he still
That
in Harvard? Was it after Harvard?
it was after Harvard, right, Sean? I mean, he was a 500-meter swimmer through college. He
Well,
was developing an interest in open water. I think that he knew that as a pool swimmer, he was really good, but that his real opportunity to be, potentially a world class was open water, not in the pool. And so,
well, Ned mentioned NCAA's though. So, and you
oh,
mentioned 500. He swam the mile
oh
and the
yes, it's been 50.
1,000 at Harvard. At the Ivy Leagues also offered 1,000-yard distance in their championships. And a lot of these other schools were only 500 and the mile. But at the Ivy League, Ivies, it was 500, 1,000, and 1,650. So that was appealing to Alex also. So, and I went to NCAA's to see Alex. He made NCAA's a couple years in college. I know I went to Ohio State in College Station, Texas. I think it was 2009. So he was swimming in NCAA's in the mile.
Tell us about
And
his
then we'll
international
finish.
events. I know, Stephen, I think I saw pictures of you at the World Championships. How many of his international trips did you get to attend? Were you new to international travel? Was this as exciting for you as it was for him?
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, my first international travel was to Rome, Italy, when Alex got to swim the 25K, right, Sean?
Yep. I did not
Yeah.
go. Steve.
Yep. No, I went. I I only had a couple days off, so I had never been to Europe before. But I took 3 days off and went and I watched him swim that race. The whole thing was absolutely mind-boggling to me because here Alex was swimming with the most elite swimmers in the world championship in open water, and it was just a huge eye opener and so exciting to watch him swim with all these famous people. He had to, because he ended up swimming the 25K. Fran, I think, swam the 5 and the 10K. Chip Peterson was there, and I think Chip was swimming the 10K maybe. But because Chip and Fran were a little faster than Alex, they got their choice and nobody really wanted to do the 25K. So that was Alex's, that's swim that or not nothing. So he did the 25K. And it's obviously a very long race, and that was the race that he was doing. This is his first time on the international scene, and for God's sakes, he was at the head of the pack, and I was so excited. I can't tell you. And make a long story short, he ended up uh, getting disqualified in that race at the very end, within 500 yards of the finish line. They came over in a boat and they took him out of the water, and he had gotten two yellow flags or whatever it was. And he was in fourth place, 500 yards from the finish, ahead of pretty much, there was a group of four, and he was right there. Um, and so I was so impressed that, number one, he was at the head of the pack. He clearly was gonna be the real deal. And I didn't even care that he got disqualified, honestly, because I was so impressed on how well he swam that race. That, that was the most important thing. And can I tell kind of, this is, well, you
And
can't,
that was during college, right, Steve? That was college.
that was in 2009, right?
Yeah, so he was in college. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sean, did you have an international trip or two? What was your favorite?
Oh, um,
China World
yeah,
Championships,
I don't
right?
think it was my favorite though. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
honestly, to
but
tell you the truth, the way open water, they select the Olympic team. I think you probably know it's done at world championships. I don't know how they do it now, but it was the selection for the Olympic team was made at world championships the summer before. And your opportunity to swim at world championships is determined by um, the national open water championships. And bottom line, just to make it short, which is hard for me to do, uh, Alex qualified to go swim in Shanghai, um, for the opportunity to be able to qualify for the 2012 Olympics. And they took I think it was, I could be wrong, but something like the top 10 automatically qualified for the Olympics. And I wasn't that excited about going to China. And Steve, I don't think,
I don't know.
but we were both like, someone has to go in the event he makes the Olympic team. And I, I, and you know what? Honestly, I mean, I can laugh about it now, but people ultimately, he made the Olympic team. I think he
Came
placed
in fourth.
third or fourth, and I never saw the race because they did not allow any spectators to go in to where you could see. We were in China. Things were very different. And spectators could sit on a beach and watch some monitors. And I was so frustrated, and people back home were able to watch some of that race. I never saw a thing. I saw him finish. The way I knew he made the team is I took my niece Katie because I didn't want to go alone, and I convinced her to come. That was the reason it was a fabulous trip for me. Katie and I went. It was a great memory, a great trip. But the way we were there to support Alex, and then we sat on a beach and watched a screen, and all you could do is watch the names come up on the screen and count. And so it's like, one, there's a name, and you just hoped that we saw him in the top 10. And then he came in, like, I guess Steve is probably right, fourth, and we knew that he made it. And then it was several hours after that before we even saw him. I mean, it was very interesting. So, that was an interesting trip. And then I guess because I'll probably never would have thought I would ever go is I went to Russia for the World Championships in
Kazan.
2011, maybe. He placed, oh, I brought a picture. This one, he placed second. And I was there in Kazan. So this has been fun because I was forced to kind of pull out a bunch of pictures and stuff. And I'm so happy about Paul
Oh gosh.
at your
Yeah,
things.
that's
I made a
awesome.
book about Paul and Alex.
Talk,
So
talk,
anyway,
talk to
so
us.
those were my two big international trips.
Talk to us about the World Championships, and also talk to us about Paul's influence in the World Championship. Don't not too much because his head's already big enough, but
Yeah,
a little bit of influence.
Steve, you go.
Well, I went to Lac St. John to watch Alex swim the 25K World Championship. This was the following year after Italy when he got disqualified. And I drove up after work, drove through the night because the race was the next morning, must have been a Saturday morning, I'm guessing. And it was a long drive from central New York up to Lac St. Jean. And I got there about an hour before he was going to start swimming. And it was, so it was very exciting. I drove by myself. It's a long, awful drive, honestly. And so in that race, again, you can't see anything really. So they have the jumbotrons where you can. So I watched the start and I was able to watch the finish. And otherwise, you just hear the announcer saying how these folks are doing as they're traversing Lac St. John, which is a very, very cold water swim. It starts in the high 50s and gets in the mid lake to the mid 60s temperature wise, which is brutally cold without a wetsuit. And it was. I was so excited because Alex was he was doing well. He was swimming strong. Paul had been coaching him and training him up north in cold water. And it was excruciating waiting for this race to like basically finish up, and I would be wringing my hands. And Alex was in first place, then third place, then second place. So he's now up ahead, and I couldn't stand it. And I would, and it was so long that I had to do something. I had so much nervous injury, so I would have my running clothes on, and I would go run half a mile, just to expend energy and come back and listen for another 15, 20 minutes. Alex he's breaking in the lead now, but we still have 10 kilometers. So I go out and run another half mile or so. I did this repetitively until he was within, the last mile of the race. And he won. And it was just an amazing, amazing moment that, Alex was a world champion, and he beat the guy, Valerio Clary, who had basically made a lot of trouble for him and had won in Rome at that race. That's a whole nother story I won't go into. But so Alex was champion, and I was so proud and so excited. And Alex was a real contender now on the world stage. So that was my most favorite, memorable experience of for Alex. And it's a small town where they swim that race, and the whole town, this is like the biggest thing that happens in the town all year. And they have this parade of champions, and the Alex is, and this flotilla sitting, up with I don't know if he had a crown on his head, but, it was almost the same thing. It was a big production, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
I'm going to stop with that because that was what I'd hoped to get in the interview was your reaction to that World Championship. So for people who are watching this or interested, in a couple of seconds, contacts will come up. They'll be able to subscribe to the channel. Sean and Steve, thank you very, very much. I think you'll have touched a number of swimmers and a number of parents with your story. They've all got a story as well. So thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
thank you for the opportunity and the memories.